Shalom, shalom, and welcome. We've already done. We did that once already. I think once is enough for that.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, all you fine Westerner folks here. Glad to have you here on the Nexus, a weekly Bible study and discussion. You can there'll be a link right over here in the chat box. Just hit that. No, there's the links out there. Yeah, let me get. I am not with it today. There's about to be a link in the chat box if you want to join and you're into a serious but informal discussion of the text. We would love to have you in here. So, big stuff we're going to talk about today. Of course, the topic of the week, we're still looking into the law against illicit behavior, illicit sexual behavior, as part of the universal law, one of the 7 mitzvot, if you will, of the Torah. And it's about 66 laws altogether. There's some varying, so it depends on the school you go to, but generally about 66 precepts altogether. That mankind is commanded to be governed by. So we'll get into that. And today, this week is the beginning of Exodus, where we study the book of Exodus, and God seems to get a bit more personal. I mean, God kind of used there's some personal stuff with Abraham, but he's about to get a whole lot more personal as Torah goes on. So it looks like we're on. Let's see. We're on YouTube, but we're not on Rumble.
Okay.
Rumble is not going. Let me see if I can get this fixed.
Yeah.
It says I'm live.
I got live up here.
There we go. We are live. Okay. I see you now. It took a second for the page to refresh, so I just want to make sure we're running smoothly. So and so far we are.
Yay.
Got to keep it up. Hey, you actually do have to pay money to live stream on Rumble, so I'm going to get my 50 cents worth. It's not 50 cents. But, so how are things how are things up north, Rosalie? How are you doing tonight?
It's cold.
Yeah.
I almost didn't make it because I had no heat in my car. So my son is going to be checking into that. I don't know if I'm just low on antifreeze or what. It's like we get one thing's fixed. At least we got the water fixed. Yay! Water's fixed. So that's the good news. Yeah. So no, hopefully the car is not going to do anything stupid because I turn old Saturday and I'm not going to have a broken down car.
You say you turn old Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't think you were going to turn old. I thought you had a ways to go before that catches up.
Nope.
No.
I will be 65 on Saturday.
Congratulations. Happy birthday and a Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. Golly, that is a good age.
No. I can't afford to
stick around a little while longer. We're not done with you.
Yeah, I know. I know. I have to because it's like the whole world just got more expensive. Damn it. It's like, shit.
Maybe we can fix that eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, okay.
So big doings. It's not just Israel and Gaza anymore. We got some doings going on in Beirut. We got doings going on in Iraq
and Iran. Yeah, I know. I've been checking that out. It's like, cool. It's about time. They killed the, number 1 guy who started the 7th?
Mm-hmm.
From what I hear.
We don't know who it is. Nobody's claimed it yet.
That was a terrorist attack, too. Just remember that.
Say what?
That was a terrorist attack, too. Just remember that.
Oh, yeah. Never mind me.
That's what they're claiming.
Yes.
It's a terrorist attack.
It's war.
Yes. So say it, the terrorists. The terrorists know if they're terrorist attack is terrorist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope.
That's what war is. It's
for them, MOUSE.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse is about to go.
Yeah,
what do you call it? Public domain. I can make and sell my own Mickey Mouse T-shirts now.
Yeah, hey. That's right. Apparently within reason, you could do this. So, Yeah, within reason.
Well,
And that's basically all I know right now because I was working today, and as I always do on Thursday. And so, yeah, I was not happy about the car thing. That just sat there for 20 minutes trying to get my windshield defrosted enough to where I could drive home. And it wasn't on the outside, it was on the inside. That's what
oh,
makes it even worse. It's like I'm putting my hand there. It's like, I have no heat. It's like, oh my God, no. No, 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 no. So when I could get to where I could see, when it did get on enough to where it filtered through from the right, was a side view mirror, so I could see it to the right if anything was coming on the right. And it's like I could see out the window on the left side because I had my mittens in my car, and at least I could wipe the windshield down if it got wet and watery and all this. So it's like, okay. So I got home and I got almost 3/4 of the way home, and it's like the majority of my window. I finally had heat of some sort. I didn't have enough, but I had some. And it's like, I'm hoping it's just that I need antifreeze. Usually,
yeah.
if you don't have any heat, check your antifreeze levels first. And if you're low on antifreeze, put some in. Then you'll have all the heat in the freaking world. I learned that a long time ago. Or
I
water.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. Depending on if you use water and antifreeze, make sure you get enough water in there, but make sure you get enough antifreeze as well. So that will, yeah. And then if not, it's like, oh goody, I don't want to have to buy a thermostat. Definitely don't want to buy a heater core, but nothing's leaking, so it's not the heater core right now. So thermostat's a little easier and cheaper to replace. So I like I said, one damn thing after another. Baruch Hashem, thank you for this, Lord. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to thank God for the good and the bad.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing evil that does not come from God. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to swallow. We've been given
I've heard
an external source, and we carry this since when we talk about God, the human being is very primal about it. So we take this duality, this God versus Satan. I don't want to say Satan or Satan, Satan. And it has the devil on the outside. It's always over there. The evil was done by that. The reason, and and then that comes eventually. I'm the only reason I'm feeling good is because of this. The only reason I had a good time is because of this, and it's very regressive. All things come.
Well, if you were Christians, that's what that's what you're taught.
And it's not right.
No.
There's no devil. There's no war in heaven. You're not going to find it anywhere. You can take a passage and say it sounds like this, and you can believe it if you want. That's your prerogative. But all things come from God, even the unpleasant stuff. Yes, God's playing both sides of war. I make war. I create war. I make peace. I make war. I create peace.
That's right.
I make yeah. So
he says that all over in the Old Testament. Yep.
Moses calls him a god of war, a man of war.
Yep. 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 Ooh. What's really cool this year, though, is that my Jewish birthday is the 26th of Tevet, which is the next day. This year, it's the next day. So I kind of lined up really nice. So I got my Gregorian birthday and my Jewish birthday in 48 hours.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember my birthday too much, my Hebrew birthday, but I remember Rosh Hashanah. Because the day she chose for our wedding was on Rosh Hashanah. So we get 2 anniversaries. So next year, you're going to be on the same day, aren't you?
What do you mean?
Your birthday, your Hebrew, and your Gregorian.
I don't know. Last year, it was like a week apart. I think. Something like that. It's like, I don't even remember when we have a leap year anymore. Do we have a leap year this year? I don't know. I don't
You
know.
want to know something?
Okay.
I'm just going to get right to the Parsha.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, we're in Parsha Shemot. It's the first book,
Yeah.
the second book of the Bible, first 5 chapters and the first verse of chapter 6. So you can just open it to Exodus or Shemot.
So we're doing the Haftarah. All right.
Well, there's something in the just the whole theme of the thing.
Okay. So the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just have a look at it real quick, and we'll get into the Torah. We'll get into some text and what's going on.
The regular Torah. Yeah, the regular Torah is Exodus because we're in Isaiah as far as Haftarah.
Yeah, Haftarah will be next.
Yep.
And then we're going to get into all the fun stuff over on Rumble. So what I wanted to read here was basically 8 through 14. I'm in the stone again.
Mm-hmm.
The Egyptians were frightened by the growth of Israel. The Jews were becoming too numerous, too strong. They might overwhelm the natives. But they're also useful to be permitted to leave the country. Also too useful. That's like the story of the Jews everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story of the Jews in Russia. They didn't like them. They wouldn't let them read what they wanted to read, even if it was holy books or whatever, religious books. Wouldn't let them read. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't let them leave.
Nope. Hates
them, but can't get rid of them.
Right.
And it's the same we need breathing room thing. That's what it's all about. People are mad because Jews have too many children or they're too good at having children. And it's what's going on now.
Oh, God. They should have been back then.
It was the same thing in World War II. It's on over and over and over.
Well, back then, it's like, does it get into Moses here or no? Yeah. On the second portion, it says, because the king wanted all the boys killed. And they were saying, and it's been taught that the women back then, every time they got pregnant, they'd have like 6 children at a time, 5 or 6 kids at a time. So it's like for and I hate using this reference, but it's the only thing I can think of. It's like, yeah, the Jews were having puppies, It's like having puppies. They're having 6 at a time because they're multiplying and all this. And that's where they say, with that in mind, when you get into the second portion, it's like, that's where it says that the women they're having too many babies all at once and they can't keep up and they're too skilled about having the boys and letting them live, So there's that. There's that. So they weren't really lying on that one because was it true? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that fit in. So it's like, can you imagine having 6 kids? Twins and triplets are one thing, but 6 at a time? Wow. Be fruitful and multiply, and that's exactly what they were doing.
So yeah, it was they were frightened.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, well, okay, the Ramban comments on this particular part, 8 through 14. Says Pharaoh's goal was not slave labor, but the extermination of Israel, because he considered the Jews a threat in the event of an invasion.
Mm-hmm.
He could not say so openly because his people would have accepted so monstrous a crime, and as in verse 9 indicates, he needed their consent and their cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
This was a pharaoh, and it's always someone removed, because the pharaohs of old came off quite honorably in the Bible. They were kings and rulers and idolaters to an extent, but they were successful. They were civilized. This is a new pharaoh that did not know Joseph. Joseph is the man responsible for saving Egypt. Indeed, the world, they considered Egypt the center of the world at that time, and the big. So this is a whole new pharaoh, new policies, new everything. Who does not know, and comes up with this notion that, oh my gosh, there are too many Jews. Everybody else would remember. I mean, for Joseph's funeral, the entire nation of Egypt came out to mourn.
Oh God, yeah.
So you're talking about an icon, and then this apparently it says a new pharaoh arose, so it's someone detached. Who's calling for the genocide of Jews right now? I don't hear the Saudis doing it. I don't hear Moroccans. It's one people stupid enough to believe there was never a temple in Jerusalem. Gazans.
That too.
I mean, Arabs know what's going on. They're not stupid. But they have been able to raise a generation chock full of stupid.
Right.
They don't believe a lot of things. They believe some crazy stuff about the outside world. You wouldn't laugh at Amish people. No, they're trained, and no, these people are stupid. These are kids who've been raised stupid.
Oh yeah,
stupid with big guns and a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah,
they've been working at it, and it's worked. Our mosque is not near the temple. It never existed. It's like, oh my goodness, the thing's friggin' huge. It's bigger than the first one, Herod's temple. So they're detached from Torah. They're detached from, those who know Jacob, Israel. Who else is calling for? Oh yeah, dumb college kids under the age of 27.
Oh my God! Yeah, Generation A.
Another detached.
Yes.
People who are gender aware, that sort of stuff. That's the kind of people calling for, in large numbers too. And they talk, man. It's a hobby of mine lately to get on that. What's her name? I like to give Cassandra Fairbanks. Her name's Cassandra McDonald right now. She's editor for Timcast. I like Tim to an extent, but she's a real Jew hating snot. I mean, another one I've found, Brianna Joy Gray. Anyway, over on the Hill. This is a woman that will find Jew hate in any topic. They could be talking about farmers having trouble getting fertilizer, and when she gets to her opinion and she can say what she wants to about a story, she'll just start looking off in there and just find a way to say, well, people who support Israel tend to like this company, and I mean, she'll just baffle you with BS, and people eat it up. Only people who are too stupid or beyond ignorant to the point of fault, self-ignorance, would hate Jews, would want to kill them, or anybody for that matter. It's always something attached.
It's kind of cool because this kind of fits in with something that my cousin has been said this week too. My cousin Nick. He said that even in the smartest village, there is a village idiot.
Say that one more time. Can you repeat that?
Even in the smartest village, there is a village idiot. Now, and I turned around and told him, that's pretty profound. Now, the way I think that, it's like I said, well, do yourself a favor. Don't migrate down to a different village because they might be dumber. And that might rub off. And he didn't get it. It's like, if you hang around with smart people, you're going to be smart. If you hang around with stupid people, you're going to be stupid. And you're going to lose points. You lose IQ points. Because stupid is as stupid does. Love that phrase. And so he goes, huh? They finally saying it. Oh, yeah, I get it now. So it's like the smart, I mean, even the village idiot in the smartest city is going to be smarter than the dumb ones in a dumber city. See what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Okay.
Like George Carlin says, carry around pad and pencil. You'll find at least 30 or 40 stupid people all day. Just think of how stupid the average American is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Oh, absolutely.
Black pill. We white pill here too. We're very yin yang, front side and
back
side.
There was a survey that was taken, and it was a big survey. I live in the second stupidest city in the state of Michigan.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah, so it's like, oh God, I went from a smart town being the village idiot there to coming back here. It's like, no. It's like I should have told. I speak from experience.
See, you could be a professor where you're at now. Big fish in a little pond.
There you go. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh.
Well, even the Nazis couldn't top what Pharaoh did.
Yep.
And that sparked the greatest prophet the world has ever known. The birth of a heck of a I don't want to say friend of God, but he was.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue with God.
He called God. God called Moses his friend.
Moses, that was only Abraham. Did he call? I would almost say it was like a spousal relationship.
No, you're right. Abraham was his friend.
He would listen to Moses, and Moses would listen to God, but they didn't always agree, or they won't always agree.
Oh no.
The heir of Ra, that was Moses' fault. The mixed multitude, that was Moses. That wasn't God. God didn't invite them.
No. Yeah, he did.
We just ate your God. We don't want you. But it was Moses who.
Well,
thank goodness, because that's where we're at now. This is the whole grafted into Christianity thing. You're not grafted. You were never detached from the Bible. You were always there. You don't need a grafting. You don't need to, like the gender bending stuff they do at hospitals. You don't need to be doing that to yourself. You don't need to graft. You're already a human being. This is to teach you. You don't have to be Jewish to get it. It's written for the world to hear. That includes you. And it's like, well, we can do it through. No, you don't need anything. You don't need that guy. You don't need him.
No man can die for another man's sins. Period.
No man can die for another man's sins. That's Isaiah. That's Isaiah. That's Torah. That's both. Yeah, they both are very clear about it. By the way, I haven't given the meme of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The meme of the week. You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Right there. Yes. Okay. And I had the scroll going, but if you didn't know, I'm sure you could tell, Hamas supporter. Right? Okay. All right. Moving right along. Birth of Moshe, daughter of a Levite, excuse me. Moses had been raised in the splendor and anti-Semitism of the palace, but he remained the son of Aram and Jochebed. Through his mother had him for only the earliest years of his life. She succeeded so well at imbuing him with love and loyalty to his people that despite his royal upbringing, he did not become an Egyptian prince, but remained a Jew. As he became an Egyptian prince, as he matured, he displayed the compassion for the downtrodden that stamped him as the future redeemer of Israel. He wasn't detached either. That's a misconception I had for years, is that Moses wasn't that Moses was cut off. Prince of Egypt kind of, he had to go to the wall and learn the story, but his mom was still nurse feeding him.
Yes, she was the wet. Yeah, she was the wet nurse.
Yeah, wet nurse.
However, that too, you have to also remember who the three magicians were: Balaam, Jethro, and Job.
Job
was Jewish. So he had that going for him too.
True. Driven out of Egypt. And the mountain that we have here, we're going to, in Midian. Apparently Midian was on the other side of Sinai.
Home of Jethro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Midian was in view of, or had to be near Sinai somewhere, because
Well, see, this is one thing that that kind of bothers me a little bit. It's like, okay, Jethro, you knew Moses growing up and everything else. You can't say that you didn't know him, but he gave his daughter to him. was like he had to know him, and he had to know what he was getting into. So it's like he had that going for him too.
I wonder if that's why Moses went there. Let's see, Moses. Let me see.
Go to Midian, yeah, probably because he knew who Jethro was.
An Egyptian. Yeah, let's see.
Well, this is before the plagues and everything. So this is what. See, this is what I'm trying. Yeah, it's like,
It didn't say he wandered. Something else we're given in our very Western movies. He didn't wander. It just simply says, I can look at some commentary here, but Moses fled from before Pharaoh and settled in the land of Midian. And sat by a well. According to the Midrash, he fled at the age of 20. The Ramban conjectures that he was 12, but he did not return until he was 80. It doesn't say he wandered, so he knew where Midian was, I guess.
Yeah, well, he, like I said, he knew Jethro, Balaam, and Job. So, he knew all three of those guys. So it's like, okay. And he went with he went the middle ground.
There's a Midrash too that, and this is going to sound vaguely familiar, where when he fled, when Jethro left, he turned away from Pharaoh because of what Pharaoh was going to do. Job stayed silent. Jethro said, hell no. Upon that, apparently he stole some of the Hebrew relics that they'd taken. One of the things that he took was the staff of Adam, which allegedly was the staff given through Noah, through Abraham, and apparently Joseph might have had, or Jacob, maybe Jacob. So it was taken. It was part of it, and he fled.
Joseph had the coat.
Right, but okay. So anyway, he took the staff and threw it in the ground, and so that nobody could ever get it out. And when Moses came, Moses was able to pull it out of the ground. And that's the staff that he takes on for the rest of the journey. Just something interesting. So yeah, I think maybe it never really hit me that Moses knew where he was going. He knew to go to Jethro.
Yeah.
Maybe they fled. It could be they fled together because about this time, or no, this would have been before Moses was grown up.
I was going to say that this is before the plagues and all this. Yeah. So
this is 20 years or so.
Yeah, it's before the plagues. So, but I mean, it's like, it's not that Jethro couldn't go back to Midian to report back everything, because we got our senators and our congressmen, and they go back home and everything like that. So they go home, see who's going on, and report to the president. So it's like, it would make sense.
The Midrash says the bush not being consumed in fire when Moses has his first prophetic vision. It says the vision of the burning bush was symbolic of the Egyptian exile. God was in the lowly thorn bush because when Israel is in exile, he joins in their suffering, as it were. The bush itself, representing Israel, could not be consumed because God did not permit it.
Cool.
His nation to be destroyed. There's a new year in Judaism for trees. There's an actual Arbor Day.
Yes, there is.
And I've heard that said before. Well, our people were good at building. All the things we've been good at, one thing we're good at was planting trees.
Exactly.
Just ask Abraham. Planted an orchard in the desert just so people, and dug a well, which was quite a task.
Right.
Just so passerbys could have a place to relax and enjoy.
Right. An oasis.
Best bench ever. The mensch of mensch. Of mensch of menches. If only we could get all three of religions to join in on some of that Abrahamic goodness. The names
he couldn't do anything for Lot, so hey.
Now, see, I want to get into that in the sexual immorality. I am just befuddled by the man and woman, and that came to me this week. Was it was it Lot, because his daughter got him drunk, thought that they had to reproduce to save the world. There were a few of us left on the earth.
They thought that they were the only ones left.
So, yeah, are we given a pass on not that I want to marry any of my daughters or anything? Not that I would want anybody to marry their daughter, but I'm just, is that why it's not? Is that why we can't say there's not a prohibition because nothing was done to them? I don't know. One of
It
my
might have
favorite
been
ones.
because you have to look at what Ham did to Noah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
gray area.
Oh, one of my favorite here. I'm just going to speak over this. Exodus 4:22. Actually, I'll start on 20. No, I won't do that. You shall say to Pharaoh, so said Hashem, my firstborn son is Israel.
Correct. 22.
I want to read that again. So says Hashem, my firstborn son is Israel. So I say to you, send out my son that he may serve me. You have refused to send him out, and behold, I shall kill your firstborn son. This isn't figurative. He's not speaking in parables. Okay, it's not giving you a fairy tale. He's set the stakes. He let you know it's measure for measure from here on out. Israel is my firstborn son. God meant that. Also, the whole alien thing. The sons of God took daughters of men. Okay, sons of God. It's please. They're not rock monsters or fallen angels. They were human beings. All right.
Okay.
I can get this is so jam packed. So jam packed. Yeah. This is where we pretty much establish everything. We get Aaron, we get Miriam, we get Moshe, we get his mother saving his life. We get Zipporah. Who did not go with him, unlike the Prince of Egypt says, did not go with him. But he's going to go back and save his people. And God says, they're not. I wonder if this is just a thing of war. It's like you offer them peace anyway. He says, go to Pharaoh and tell him what's happening. He's not going to like it, but tell him anyway.
Right.
Infanticide. Never again.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's do a Haftarah. First 5 books of Exodus study. There's a lot to read. And there's a lot going on. I could talk about any of these books for years on end. So I won't put you to that. But we will go over to the Haftarah, which is a section of the Hebrew Bible that is not Torah, but directly pertains to the portion of the Torah we read this week. Tonight, the Haftarah for Shemot appears on 1147 in the Stone Edition Chumash.
Chapter 27 of Isaiah, verse 6 through chapter 29, 22, and 23. It goes through 28, 13, and then it goes chapter 29, 22, and 23.
This is big. Now we're reading, that's the Ashkenazic tradition, says Isaiah 27 through 29. The Sephardic custom is Jeremiah, first 2 chapters. Maybe we can read them both.
Yeah, I don't have the Sephardic.
So what Chabad has is on the Ashkenazim, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I do like Isaiah.
Oh, I love Isaiah.
I do like Isaiah. I like Ezekiel, but it's a whole different rhythm.
Oh, Ezekiel is yeah. Ezekiel's cool.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like Ezekiel's the Scottish fiddle. It's just grandiose and big and up and down and just action. And and Isaiah's a bit more of the Irish fiddle, which kind of rolls in the hills. You know, kind of. It's a very almost poetic, in my opinion, more poetic. That's just me. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to shut up and let's just get into it. Let's read Isaiah 27. Verse 6 through 28, verse 13. Then we'll jump ahead to a couple verses in 29. I'll read them out when I get there. And the Haftarah is thus for Shemot this week. Days are coming when Jacob will take root. Israel will bud and blossom and fill the face of the earth like fruit. He has struck Israel as he struck those who struck him, or he's slain him as he who slew those who slew. Okay, that's a question. 4 lines down. Days are coming when Jacob will take root. Israel will bud and blossom and fill the face of the earth like fruit. Has he struck Israel as he struck those who struck him? Or has he slain him as he slew those who slew him? According to its measure of sin, he contended against her farmland, stripping it with his strong wind on the day of the east wind. Therefore, through this shall Jacob's iniquity be atoned for, and this shall be the fruit of his son's removal, when he makes all the altar stones like ground chalk stones, and Asherah trees and sun idols shall rise up no more. For the fortified city will be lonely, depopulated, and forlorn like the wilderness. There a calf will graze, and there it will lie down and consume its branches. When its branch withers, it will be broken. Women will come and set it aflame, for it was not a discerning nation. Therefore, its maker will now show it mercy, as its creator will not show its graciousness.
Wow. That speaks to us right now. For it is not a people of understanding. Ooh, it's not talk about Gaza or what? Oh, yes. Okay, anyway. Go ahead.
When the branches dry out, they shall be broken. Women shall come and ignite it. For it is not a people of understanding. Therefore, its maker shall not have compassion on it. And he who formed it shall not grant it favor.
That just sounds like Iran. It just does. They try so hard, and they end up getting shit on every time. Okay. If that doesn't sound like our generation, I don't know what does. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Measure for measure, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask all the philosophical questions you want. We're just going to ask you one question. When asked, why is the world like this? Where we have to live in this? Why does God do this to us? I love that one. Why did God allow this to happen? Or why did God do? It's like, well, are we keeping the 7? For that matter,
what are you doing to help prevent it? You're here to help prevent it too.
Yeah, it really is a group effort.
Yeah, it's like you have work to do. I mean, you might not be able to finish it, but you are not prohibited from starting to help it. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It will be on that day that Hashem shall thresh from the surging river of the brook of Egypt, and you will be gathered up one by one, O children of Israel. And it will be on that day that a great shofar will be blown, and those who were lost in the land of Assyria and those cast away in the land of Egypt will come, and they shall prostrate themselves to Hashem on the holy mountain in Jerusalem. Woe! A crown of arrogance is on Ephraim's drunkards, and a withering blossom is the glory of its splendor upon the head, which is like a valley of oil, of those who are battered because of wine. Behold, my Lord's strong and powerful wind, like a stream of hail, a destructive tempest, mighty flooding waters, will place the crown on the ground with strength. Feet will trample the crown of arrogance of Ephraim's drunkards. And the withering blossom that is the glory of its splendor upon the head, which is like a valley of oil, will be like a fig that is ripe before summer. As soon as an observer sees it, while it is yet in his hand, he will swallow it. On that day, Hashem, master of legions, will be the crown of glory and a diadem of splendor for the remnant of his people, and a spirit of judgment for him who sits in judgment, and strength for those who return from the war to the gate. They too have erred through wine and staggered through aged wine. Cohen and prophet erred through aged wine, were corrupted by wine, staggered through aged wine, erred in vision, perverted justice. For all tables are full of vomit and filth with no clean place. To whom shall one teach knowledge? Who can be made to understand a message? Those weaned from mother's milk, removed from breasts. For commandment by commandment and commandment by commandment. For commandment by commandment and commandment by commandment, measuring line by measuring line, and measuring line by measuring line, a bit here and a bit there. For as if with unintelligible speech and with a foreign tongue does one speak to this nation. For he told them, this is the contentment. Give rest to the weary, and this brings satisfaction. But they desired not to listen. And the word of Hashem became to them like a commandment by commandment, and commandment by commandment, measuring line by measuring line, and measuring line by measuring line, a bit here, a bit there, so that they would go and stumble backward and be broken, be tripped up and caught.
Sounds just like the Koran, doesn't it? A precept for a precept, a precept for a precept, a line for a line, a line for a line, a little there, a little there. If that does not sound like the Koran, I don't know what it does.
As with unintelligible speech and with a foreign tongue does one speak to this nation. Give rest to the weary, and this brings satisfaction, but they desired not to listen. Yeah? Now we're into chapter. We're just going to read the two chapters, verses 22 and 23 in chapter 29.
Correct.
Therefore, so said Hashem, who redeemed Abraham to the house of Jacob, do not shame Jacob now, and let not his face know. Do not shame Jacob now, and let not his face now turn pale. For when he sees his children, my handiwork in his midst, they sanctify my name, and they sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and Redeemer, and render strength to the God of Israel. Imagine that. Rendering strength to the God of Israel. Is that how it's put in the... For when he sees his children, the work of my hands in his midst, who shall hallow my name. And they shall hallow the Holy One of Jacob, and the God of Israel they shall serve.
They shall revere.
They shall revere. And here it's my name. They have sanctified the Holy One of Jacob and render strength to the God of Israel. That's interesting.
Yep.
What time are we at here? It's about that time.
I got 9:45.
Well, I think we're going to go ahead and close the YouTube portion, heading on over to Rumble, and we'll discuss some more illicit sexual behavior, because there's things we need to discuss and memes and stuff that can't be placed here on YouTube. It's a serious discussion, but I really don't think that we're ever going to get away with a lot of the stuff I want to talk about on YouTube anyway. And I've got a good record on YouTube for about 9 years. So
yep, and one of them came up in my memories, and I couldn't post it.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I was going to tell you if I can get to my memories, I will. Yep. I will post it in the side chat for you.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and do that now. Let me see what I got here.
Well, we're going to head on over to Rumble.
Okay.
And finish the show there. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and just take care of this right now. We appreciate you watching. Head on over to Rumble and get the rest of it. Hit that link, come in and chat, because we got some interesting stuff to discuss.